Welcome to the Fire and Feminine Podcast, a space for women who are done forcing their bodies and ready to rebuild strength, safety, and trust from the inside out. I'm your host, Victoria, and here we talk about embodiment, nervous system safe strength, core and pelvic floor support, and what it actually means to feel at home in your body again. This isn't fitness hype, it's not hustle wellness, and it's not about fixing yourself. It's about listening deeply to what your body has been trying to tell you all along. So take a breath with me before we begin, and let's drop in. If you ever felt strong but somehow unsupported in your body, this episode is for you. If you work out, show up, do the right things, but still feel like your core is unreliable, disconnected, or tired, this conversation is for you. And if you've ever thought, why do I feel pressure instead of power through my core? Why does my lower back take over everything? Why do I have to hold my breath to feel stable? And why does rest feel uncomfortable? I want you to hear this clearly from the start. Your body is not failing you, it's protecting you. Most women I work with are not weak. They are bracing. Their bodies learned to grip, hold, tighten, and stay alert because at some point in their life, that was the safest option available. Maybe that came from pregnancy or childbirth, a C-section or abdominal surgery, transitioning into perimenopause, years of emotional responsibility, chronic stress, growing up in a body that wasn't allowed to rest, or being the one who has to hold it all together. Your nervous system has adapted. Your body was designed to do what it needs to do. But here's the part we don't talk about enough. Protection that never shuts off becomes exhaustion. And that's where so many women are living. You see, bracing doesn't always look dramatic. Often it looks like constantly pulling your stomach in, gripping your glutes or pelvic floor, shallow breathing, flared ribs or collapsed posture, tension in your jaw, neck, or shoulders, or feeling on all of the time, or struggling to fully relax at night. It shows up as leaking with jumps, runs, or sneezes, pressure during ab work, back pain that won't quit, core workouts that never feel right, and fatigue that doesn't match your effort. And the mistake we've made as an industry is this. We keep telling women to try harder instead of asking whether their body feels safe enough to soften. Strength does not land in a body that feels rushed. It does not land in a body that feels threatened. And it doesn't land in a body that is constantly overriding its own signals. Strength lands where your breath is allowed. Sensations in the body are welcomed. Pressure is managed and it's not forced. Rest is allowed and your nervous system knows when it's safe. This is why activation alone doesn't work and why so many women feel worse after core programs. Because you can't out-exercise a dysregulated nervous system. So I didn't come to this work because it sounded good on paper. I came to it because my body refused after approach with core training. I was disciplined, I was consistent, I knew how to push, but my body didn't feel supported. It felt guarded after all the high intensity training. And eventually it stopped responding the way I used to need it to, which changed everything. It wasn't doing more. It was learning how to let my breath soften before my life felt way overwhelming. It was realizing that my body wasn't stubborn. It was exhausted from holding everything together. And that realization rewired not just how I train now, but also how I live. Your nervous system's job is to not make you strong. Its job is to keep you alive. So when life feels unpredictable or overwhelming or unsafe, your body chooses control. So that's when your ribs lock down, your abs grip, your pelvic floor tightens, your breath shortens, and movement becomes rigid instead of fluid. Over time, this becomes your baseline, and then we blame our body for doing exactly what it was trained to do. This is why safety is not optional in strength work. It is foundational. Because rebuilding trust with your body does not start with intensity. It starts with things like breath that expands the ribs instead of flattening them, awareness without judgment, movement that responds instead of reacts, strength that comes after regulation. And inside the Fire and Feminine 30-day reset, this is how we begin. Not with day one pressure, not with catching up, not with bracing drills, but instead with nervous system safe breath, core and pelvic floor coordination, pressure management, slow supported strength, and permission to move at your body's own pace. Because when the body feels safe, it changes naturally. And a lot of women worry, won't I lose strength if I slow down? You don't lose strength when you slow down. You reorganize it. You build the kind of strength that stays, the kind that doesn't disappear the moment stress hits. It's the kind that supports you through real life, not just your workouts. So if this episode is resonating and you're realizing that your body isn't broken, it's been protecting you, I want you to know this. You don't need to force yourself back into strength. You need to feel safe enough to rise again. That's what the Fire and Feminine 30-day reset was built for. It's a begin anytime, nervous system safe reset for women who want core and pelvic floor strength without pressure, bracing, or burnout. You'll find it linked in the show notes if your body is asking for a more supportive place to start. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving your body the space to be heard. And remember this, my friends, you are not behind. You are not failing. Your body is wise. I'll see you next week.